Only one piece remains. Today, hearts will warm and the Edmonton cold will disappear. José Chouinard, elegance and grace, will skate for her third national crown. The focus for today, however, is on the Olympic dream. Tonya Benger, too. Visions of the journey to Lillehammer, second after the technical skate. Karen Preston, shining through, a two-time champion right in the thick of the battle. And the hometown hero, Susan Humphreys. She'll contend, and soon the puzzle will be complete. A snowy Sunday afternoon in Edmonton, Alberta. We bring you inside Northlands Coliseum for the 1994 Royal Bank Canadian Figure Skating Championships. Yes, this is it. The final test, the last exam before the Winter Olympic Games. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rod Black, and welcome to what should be a fitting finale to a spectacular week of skating here in the City of Champions, with one champion to be crowned today and one other Olympic spot to be named on the women's team. But let's go back to last night, if we can. It was rock and roll heaven here in Northlands Coliseum. Elvis and Kurt were on center stage, and they were on the podium as well. Elvis Stojko, crowned Canadian champion for the first time last night. Kurt Browning normally doesn't take second stage or second fiddle to anyone else. He's alongside Elvis last night with Sebastian Britten. Those are the three men who will go to the Winter Olympics. And kudos to Kurt, because he came back after what many called a disastrous technical program on Friday night, but a true world champion does what he did last night. He picked up the pieces, he dusted himself off, and he said he fought one of the hardest battles he ever had to. He had a standing ovation before he came on and a standing ovation afterwards. We'll see more from Kurt Browning. We'll talk to him and Elvis Stojko later today. But our focus is on the women's competition. What a battle this one is as well. Let's look at the standings for the technical program. José Chouinard after the technical program leading the way. Tonya Benger in second place. Karen Preston third. Susan Humphreys, and then a former junior champion, Angela Derochie. Debbie Wilkes is here today. Good afternoon, Deb.
How are you doing, Rod?
I'm doing excellent, because this has been a spectacular week of skating, as I mentioned off the top. We have seen perhaps the best quality skating at the Canadian Championships in a long, long time.
Oh, I have to agree. I think that the caliber of skating right down to the bottom in the women's event has been outstanding. Usually, I mean, it's not very kind to say, but usually it's kind of a crash and burn event. But here we are, and I think it's probably absolutely the best skating I've seen from the women in maybe a decade.
We talked about the battle between Kurt and Elvis and the battle in pairs and dance, but this one, you have 5, 6 skaters who could earn those 2 berths potentially.
Yes, and it will be very disheartening and very disappointing for the one that does not. José was outstanding. I think we'll see that same kind of performance from her today. Tonya Benger in a really, really good spot, and for my money, she's the best technical skater. Karen Preston in third, Susan Humphreys, all wonderful.
In a few moments, we're going to show you the technical programs from last night, but let's go to this morning. José Chouinard had an excellent practice after a great night in her technical skate last night. She is the defending champion. We all remember what happened last year in Hamilton, all of the emotion and the drama. She went to the World Championships, but this is an Olympic year, and as much as the World Championships mean something very special to these skaters, the Olympics are something extra special, aren't they?
Well, and part of the puzzle, as you mentioned, has been trying to focus on just the national championships. But now, I guess, except for the women, and that will happen this afternoon, now they can start to think about Lillehammer.
All right, let's talk about the women's competition. 2 programs. We're going to show you the highlights of last night's technical program. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. 8 required elements that the skaters must perform. And the free skate, which is still to come later today on CTV. 4 minutes of music, no restrictions, and it is the difference. The make it or break it skate with an Olympic berth at stake. Let's go back to last night now in a sold-out Northlands Coliseum and watch the women's technical program. 1 year ago in Hamilton, José Chouinard captured her 2nd Canadian championship. She then pulled a Kurt Browning. She moved to Toronto to train with Louis Stong, looking to improve her chances at the Olympic Games, if she can get there.
She's had a terrific preseason, 2nd in the pre-Olympic event.
Behind Nancy Kerrigan. Spectacular. The 2-time Canadian champion looking for 3, and she is halfway, Debbie, to Norway.
She did have a tiny little slip at the very last moment of the 2-minute 40 program. The spin was a tiny bit of a problem, but she continued on, completed the rotations. It will be a very minor deduction. Jumps beautiful. Starting of the program, triple Lutz, double toe, easy. And the double axel, one of her best elements. Once again, easy. Look at the speed.
Now, you said something about the elements, and she has not been marked too critically at all. Look at the 5.9 there. The 5.7's not much room at all. And for a presentation, Wow, she's got a 6.0. The reigning Canadian champion will be the leader after the technical program.
Preston.
There are only 2 women in this competition who have won the Canadian Championships twice and have been to the Olympic Games. One is the defending champion, Chouinard. The other is 22-year-old Karen Preston, her training mate in Toronto.
Got that combination, a very difficult triple flip double toe.
With another trip to another Olympics at stake, Karen Preston knew what she had to do and went out and did it.
The precious moments before a skater takes the ice, you're standing there, your heart rate's going, your palms are sweating, you're freezing. Those moments are sheer terror for a skater, and you wonder, as you look into the program, how is my combination going to go? Especially with the technical program. Triple flip was a beauty, double toe the same.
You mentioned that because Karen generally gets very wound up before a competition, doesn't she?
Yes, and she seemed to be very tight tonight. Now, everybody has a bit different style. Some people are very loose, some too loose. She had that keyed up look. Worked for her.
So where will these marks place Karen heading into the free skate? 2 Olympic spots available. 5 6s and 5 7s for required elements. Presentation marks 5 7s and 5 8s, and Karen Preston will be right behind Louis Stong's other skater, José Chouinard. And Louis has a chance to be sending 2 more skaters to the Olympic Games.
This year, you're...
This is a comeback story, Debbie. Tonya Benger has been with us for the last few years, but she retired earlier this year.
Nobody knew where she was and what her decision was going to be. Oh, triple lots of death.
She has always been a very strong technical skater. Contender. I think she made the right decision not to retire, Deb.
Ooh, that was good. It's an old program with a few changes in it. One she must feel very comfortable with.
A lot of people in Richmond, BC happy tonight. One thing we must point out, though, Tonya has historically had very strong short programs.
Very true. She has moved back from Ontario to BC. Her coach is now Zdeněk Pizdirek, and he has really encouraged her to think about how she conducted her training. And by taking more responsibility for her training, she's getting these kinds of results. What an outstanding combination. And the double axel, too, covers like 20 feet on the ice. The landing almost faster than the takeoff.
It's kind of funny. She's been in an era with Jose and Karen, Lisa Sargent, and others, and she's been skating a bit in the shadows of them and never been able to make it to a world team. Look at the technical marks here, folks. 5.9s, 5.8s, 5.7s.
The triple Lutz was the most difficult combination in the event.
Presentation marks lower?
I don't know. I thought it was sensational. The only other triple
about the
was
same.
Jose Chouinard.
Presentation about the same, and Tonya Benger is in second place, and with a good shot at an Olympic Games berth. That was last night. Tonya Benger moving into second place. She led after the technical program a year ago in Hamilton. Jose Chouinard is the leader as we head to the free skate, moments away. And there you see the competitors warming up, getting ready The Royal Bank Canadian Figure Skating Championships continue in Northlands in a moment.
After the technical program, Tonya Benger, who has really found a kind of a calm inside herself. And as far as the technical program was concerned, a tremendous success. I hope she can keep it together for the long.
Former Canadian junior champion Angela Derochie.
Very strong skater too, Rod. She's got the triples. She has a very determined streak about her and has had tremendous practice sessions this week.
Be very difficult, though, 5th place to finish 2nd.
Absolutely. Susan Humphreys is looking to really move up. She was 4th after the technical program, having a very strong warm-up.
In her hometown and the defending champion.
Jose Chouinard has been totally fabulous in warm-up. I love to watch the warm-ups because you just never know what's going to happen. I like to see if there's any correlation between how the warm-up goes and how the final free skate goes. And Karen Preston is a really good example of how nerves can go astray. She was very tight last night. It seems to be very composed today, too.
The busiest guy in this building is the man you see standing there with the scarf on, Louis Stong, walking away. He's coaching both Karen and Jose. I'm sure he would love to see them both excel today. And we begin the final flight. Up first, Tonya Benger. Excellent technical program, triple Lutz. Last year she led after the technical program, but then fell apart in her free skate. Looking to erase the past and looking ahead to what might be an Olympic berth.
Performed by the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra, as a matter of fact, called Fall Fair.
Hitting order in the final flight. Leading off, positive or negative for Tonya?
It's hard when you have to warm up the triple jumps. Your 6-minute warm-up is instantly cut short by at least a minute. She had a shaky warm-up too. You need time to become composed.
choice of music. Fall Fair is an appropriate one.
But she can always count on the double axel.
She is one of the best jumpers in women's skating in Canada. But a couple of stumbles might find her in the same position she was a few years ago from the outside looking in. We'll watch and wait for her marks in a few moments. The leader, the defending champion, still to skate. A smile on her face. Great technical skater, but maybe a few memories of last year.
The first jump out of a warm-up, the one that begins the program like that beautiful triple Lutz, is a real hurdle for the skater, particularly if the warm-up has been bad. She continued to fight off and on with opening up in triple jumps, and finally the triple loop was sort of the crowning blow.
The marks for technical merit, 5.3 to 5.6s and 5.5s. She is still not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. Artistic impression marks, 5.5s, 5.4s, 5.3, and now the hard part, Deb. Waiting and watching the final four.
Slow. Like I landed slow.
The next competitor, representing the Gloucester Figure Skating Club, Derochie.
Angela Derochie had an excellent technical program. Former Canadian junior champion. 20 years old, from Ottawa, Ontario. She skates out of the Gloucester Skating Club.
After she won the junior title in '92, she suffered quite a serious foot injury. Only just back on the ice this season. competition, beginning with very simple single jump.
Debbie, she'll be hard-pressed to make the Olympic team, but what a confidence boost it must be to be able to skate in the final flight at a Canadian championship. Derochie. We'll see her in this women's competition over the next couple of years for sure. And there is the men's champ backstage watching today. Elvis Stoico getting ready for the Olympics, and so are 3 more competitors in the women's competition.
Chris Lambert is the kind of grandparent.
Marks being announced. Technical merit for Angie Derochie, 4.9. The low mark.
She had a struggle. She started off very strongly and then seemed to get limper and tired as the program went along. Still, good heart, an attempt to carry on with the triple jumps.
Seems like a real fighter. Artistic impression marks, another 4.9. And Angie Derochie
and her coach Peter Dunfield
now sitting behind Tonya Benger on the leaderboard with 3 skaters still to come this afternoon, including the 18-year-old out on the ice who was 3rd at the Canadians last year. Susan Humphreys is from Edmonton. Friends and family here watching. Does it make it easier or tougher?
I think it depends how your skates are talking to you that day. Familiarity is obviously more comfortable for a skater.
Susan was 4th after the technical program. She definitely has a chance at one of the 2 berths available for the Olympics.
athleticism. The arms and hands are incredibly expressive. The music to Swan Lake, a real challenge, and one which she really rises to.
About 30 seconds left.
I always think it's wonderful. The women all have the same length of program, more or less. And when it's well skated, it seems short.
This was very well skated. It might be worth a trip to the Olympics. The teenager rises. And now we'll wait.
In 1962.
In behind, Susan Humphreys, who just moments ago broke into tears as she came off the ice.
There will be more tears, I'm sure, as she looks up at the scoreboard.
The triple sow, everything was perfect. All the jumps were there. The program sped. It had beauty and elegance.
Marks for technical merit. You see, these marks will be enough to elevate her into the lead with two skaters to come. And now she is on the bubble, if you will, for an Olympic spot. The ordinals, the rankings, the judges give each skater first place across the board. Still to come, Chouinard, Karen Preston, both are two-time Canadian champions. Jose is the defending champion, and look at the focus in those eyes.
Jose wants to know whether that move to Toronto was the confirmation of every decision she's needed to make in skating over the last year. Jose's first element goes well. She's off and running.
Debbie, choreographed by Sandra Bezic, at home in Toronto, a mom, soon to be. Sandra Bezic when Jose got a 6.0 in her technical program. She took one spill, but that just might be enough for the Canadian champion to reclaim her crown. One skater still to come. 2 Olympic berths on the line. Marks coming across now for Jose Chouinard. Technical merit, 5.8s across the board.
Consensus. Was a beautiful program. The quality of the whole thing, the difficulty of the steps, quite exceptional. Gershwin never looked so good.
Some people may ask about the fall.
The fall in the second triple Lutz wasn't all that important. It was more a fall because the jump got jammed right into the corner.
No major deductions then?
No.
Artistic impression, no 6.0 up there today, but 5.9s, 5.8s, and Jose Chouinard is the leader. Susan Humphreys is now waiting backstage. One skater on the ice. Jose could be the Canadian champion again, but don't write off the young warrior that is out on the ice right now. 22-year-old Karen Preston, who has in the past erased self-doubt, has conquered nerves, injuries, and now 4 minutes away from the Olympics.
Look at the final moments, the shaking of the hands, the pulling of the ears, checking her earrings. It's a standard dance she does, waiting for her name to be called. Here we go.
Remember what I asked you about skating first? What about skating last?
Last is always best. Triple flip. 5 minutes, 5 seconds. 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 has, for the most part, gotten the jumps done, but I think at the cost of the radiance of the program.
So now two tickets to the Winter Olympic Games are at the discretion of the judges.
When you see the marks, Rod, we have to consider the placements after the technical program. I think Susan Humphreys outskated Karen, but she was 4th after the technical program in comparison to Karen's 3rd.
Susan backstage. If you've just joined us, only 2 women will represent Canada at the Olympic Games. José Chouinard leads. Her berth is a lock.
The questionable jump is the triple Lutz. I wondered, seeing it, whether it was landed on 2 feet. Boy, it's hard even to tell with the replay. And then the final triple flip, which was a fall. Now, oh, I don't know. That's a hard call. It will come down to a very subjective thing from the panel.
Louis Stong beside Karen. Susan Humphreys waiting. Karen Preston. 5 6s, 5 7s, 5 5s, 5 7s. Again, Debbie, you might be right. It might be the technical program that does it. She was 3rd after the short skate.
Tiebreaker will be this mark, the artistic compression marks.
Artistic compression marks. Not enough. The dream is reality for Susan Humphreys.
Oh my God, I know.
And now here are the unofficial results of the Senior Ladies Championship. The Senior Ladies Championship.
Oh, you did. I just loved it.
Susan Humphreys is going to the Winter Olympics with José Chouinard, and Karen Preston is not.
In 2nd place, from the World Lenora Club, Susan Humphreys. In 3rd place, from the Toronto
José Chouinard defends her title, a 3-time Canadian champion now. Susan Humphreys, the underdog, you might say, from Edmonton here, the Royal Glenora Club. She makes it to the team, and Karen Preston, as disappointed as she was, gave it a great shot, but she finishes 3rd. There is Susan Humphreys with Christine S., and I am going to try to get over to Susan. There she is here. Susan, congratulations. Tell me what you feel right now. It must be just the end of a long dream.
Yeah, I think I'm in shock. I said to someone, I just hope someone's not going to wake me up and it's not going to be real. Like, you feel like you're dreaming and you're going to wake up and someone's going to say, no, you still have to do your long program.
Tell me about the program today. You had tears in your eyes of joy after you came off the ice.
Well, I've had kind of a tough week, but I've worked hard all year, so I was kind of getting frustrated at this week because I was having a hard time, but I guess it's in the long run that it pays off, that it's there when you need it. And before I skated today, I just wanted to go out there and I was just going to have fun with it. And I visualized it earlier that I was going to, get the crowd into it, and I did. I was excited. I got a standing ovation, actually. That was my big thrill.
Your hometown crowd, too. Believe it. You're going to the Winter Olympic Games. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Susan Humphreys on her way to the Winter Olympics. We'll take a break now, and we'll return to Northlands Coliseum in a moment. Three-time Canadian champion on the way to the Winter Olympics. Again, Jose, your thoughts? I know last year you had tears of joy in Hamilton, but to defend your title and with an Olympic berth on the line, what went through your mind today?
Just to say, I think I was more relaxed, I was really nervous, but it was controlled, and my training's been going so well that I knew every keywords before my jumps, and it just worked out because I was calm, I knew where to breathe, and everything was like, a movie. Everything was in a good sequence.
Must be a very difficult week, though. Your training partner, Karen Preston, you've become good friends. Unfortunately, she didn't make it.
This is so sad. All I can say, I'm still in shock. I haven't seen her yet, and I think it's going to be really hard.
But on the good side, you're going to another Winter Olympics. This must be very special to represent your country.
It is special. I know what to expect for the Olympics this year, and I have big goals, but all I want the most is be as proud as myself as I was today.
What about competing against all of the skaters at the Winter Olympics? Do you even think about that right now, or do you let this sit in?
All I'm thinking now is my training. When I'll be going back to when I'm going to be back, I just want to go down a little bit and then move on as the competition gets close.
I'll let you move on to the ice. They're calling your name. Jose Chouinard goes out to accept her gold medal. There she is. What a day for Jose. 3 times a champion in Canada and on the way to a 2nd Olympic Games. She'll go with Susan Humphreys and the rest of Canada's strongest team ever, heading to Lillehammer. There's the other Olympian. Northlands Coliseum and Edmonton did a wonderful job this week. They prepare for the 96 Worlds. It will come here. But now we look ahead to Lillehammer, and also on CTV, the Parade of Champions to come. The parade